been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the...
Okay.
Karl Lennon, coach of the Invicta Dynamos. How you doing this evening?
Yeah, very well, and thank you for having me on. I appreciate being part of this. Yeah.
No, you're more than welcome. It's something I wanted to do as soon as the cup final was secured as to who was going to be in it. I'd envisioned, excuse me, envisioned doing some sort of gloves are off between the coaches. But obviously, Chelmsford Chieftains are without a permanent coach at the moment, so it's made that a bit difficult. But I wanted to get you on to talk about your season as well.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
So I'll just get me your bits up here. So your league season's over now. You finished this weekend. Congratulations, you've finished fourth. And obviously you've got the cup final to come against Chieftains as well this coming weekend. And then we'll be facing each other again the weekend after that in the playoffs. So we will certainly be sick of the sight of each other. But can you break your season down for us? It's see how it went for you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously it's the first season as a coach, so that in many ways has brought a number of different exciting times and challenges and pressures that come with not just being a coach, but being a coach of this team as well too, because Invicta's at this level at least steeped in quite high tradition and, like the Chieftains in many ways in that regard. So it's a real sort of change of a season. We had only 6 or 7 players that we retained from last year's squad. So that meant we had to really look around and try and find what was right for us. And during the summer, at least through the course of last season, I'd kind of seen a few areas where I thought we could address certain topics, certainly try and make our side a bit younger, certainly have a bit more depth. And I think probably the fact that I was away from the club for quite some time enabled me to sort of come in with a fresh perspective, I guess. And so we looked at 3 or 4 areas we wanted to identify to improve. And one of those was trying to bring as many local players into the setup. So we have sort of 12 to 13 Kent-based players in the squad this year, which we're very happy about. And then we wanted to lower the average age. So we managed to get, I think, 9 to 10 under 21 players in the squad as well too, and a couple just above that, which for us is a challenge, of course, because they're less experienced, but the excitement and the energy that they bring to the table has been fantastic. And
your 2 imports will certainly be putting that average age up, won't they?
Yeah. And when I've played as well too, that hasn't helped the case. But we knew that we could do something there. So recruitment was really important in the summer. And then, in addition to that, we looked at different parts of the way we were playing and how we could improve there too, with the skill set of the players that we brought in. And, thankfully, everybody's bought into the process that we've gone through here. And, we've had a great room the whole season. Everybody's worked tirelessly every single game, regardless of the result, to try and improve ourselves. And that's the game we're in at the minute, self-improvement, because we know by no way are we the finished article. We're work in progress. But to be able to do what we've done so far, we're very happy with. And I'm certainly very happy with the boys and what they've achieved thus far. Obviously now we're at the business end of the season. It's really, tight between all the teams. Again, you said there we finished 4th, which we're very happy about. That's 2 places above where we were last year, but we're tied points with Slough above us and yourselves just the place below.
Yeah,
so
it's been very tight, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing between the teams, quite honestly, and for me, that obviously makes Saturday and Sunday all the more exciting, I imagine, for the casual watcher.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you played at all this year, or has it just been in the bench?
Yeah, no, I've played a few times. I really try to avoid it because I think it's important that the boys have a voice on the bench and someone that can sort of stay away from the game. It's hard though, because I think in the post-COVID world, the expectation and demands on players is quite different, and juggling life and jobs and everything means that people, certainly ones that sometimes have to work the weekend, they can't commit. And so I have played a few games where absolutely necessary, because we wanted to make sure we had 3 lines minimum every game, and we've had that pretty much every game so far this year. So for me, if there was a desperation like situation, then yeah, I played. But really just as minimal as possible, not taking many shifts, just there as injury cover more than anything. And I enjoyed being part of the team last year, and there's far less, I guess, stress when you're playing, because you can control the situation. When you're coaching, yeah, of course you have an influence, you can control it, but you are also somewhat reliant upon players doing what you ask them. And we know sportsmen generally, they have these moments sometimes where they abort the instruction and do what they wish. But like I said earlier, collectively, they've kind of done it pretty well across the course of the season. So, I've enjoyed when I have played, but tried to avoid it as best I could too.
Yeah. Would that be, you say, the biggest change you've noticed becoming a coach from becoming a player is just that level of control?
Yeah, I mean, again, the highs are high and the lows are low, because regardless of how you prepare for a game, like yesterday, we prepared no differently than we have in previous games where we've had great results, and yet on the night doesn't go the way you want it to, and you are somewhat powerless during the game, because any changes you seem to make, if you try and make them, sometimes don't pay off also. And then you're in a more desperate situation. That was kind of how it worked yesterday. But there are games where it's quite the opposite, and you make a small little detail change, and all of a sudden the result swings back in your favour. I've had moments on both sides of that. So and the thing that is important is that, like I said, when you win, you're on that high for the rest of the week, and when you lose, you have sometimes a day, which is great. If you play on the Saturday, lose, and you've got the Sunday to put it right. Sunday to put it wrong. The following week is always really tough when you've lost. If you lose on a Sunday night, it's really quite a heavy toll on you. And I know, like, even from yesterday, it's sitting on me still. And it won't be the case until Saturday that we can try and put that right, really.
Of course, yeah.
So that's my general feeling on it so far when it comes to the sort of coaching aspect of it.
So, have you had a particular game this season that's been a highlight for you?
I mean, it's hard to say in front of you guys, I guess. We've had a few decent performances.
I do remember a game at Chelmsford earlier in the season that we've not spoken about much, in all honesty.
No, I mean, look, games like that happen. We had one last night, right? And it happens to the best of us. So we get it completely. Sometimes things go completely in your way, and sometimes they don't. And then sometimes you show up really well, and sometimes you don't. I think probably up until now, the most memorable weekend would be obviously the semi-final weekend that we had against Solent. We got a win the week before in Solent, so we had some confidence going into that, which was fantastic. And then to then go there and get a result in the first leg in their rink and bring that back to us. It was a 5-5
draw, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a crazy game, end to end. And then we had a 25-minute delay to play the last 5 minutes of the game.
Gosh, the door broke or something, didn't it?
Yeah, it was mad. And so we managed to get that figured out and saw the game out, which we were very happy about. And coming back to our place, when you play in our place on a game night, it's a special location because the fans are special, and it's an old building and it has a lot of character, shall we say. And for me, that's an added bonus for us. And we made the most of it on that night, took a 5-1 win, which we were very, very happy with. The boys were fantastic, and it was a great weekend, all in all. And it got us here, where we are now. So it stays fond in the memory because, again, not just us, but you guys as well too. These teams should be in finals because there's an expectation that comes with being part of Chelmsford or being part of Invicta. And, I know that too well from when I played previously, that expectation is there, and it's great now to have the opportunity to play in a final again. Yeah,
I must admit, I think everyone's really looking forward to the cup final. I think obviously it's in Invicta on the Saturday, isn't it? Saturday night we're down at your barn.
That's right.
And then back to Chelmsford on the Sunday. And then, as we said earlier, the following week we will be joining each other again. I don't think it's been fully decided as yet as to who's going to be where, what evening.
No, I don't know yet. I haven't heard from Kevin and Sarah, the owners here, yet as to when that will be. one can only assume it might be the reverse of what it was before for the cup final, but who knows? It's hard to judge with the league at the minute. But it's like an NHL series now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's like a
between the two
Stanley Cup series game, isn't it? But
Yeah. Which is great for the fans. You know, there's a lot of close rivalry between the two teams anyway, and then to add to that, to play each other 4 times in 2 weekends, it's going to be an epic undertaking for everybody, I think.
But that's going to make it, after that, it's going to make it 10 times in the one season, because obviously we were in the same cup group, so we had home and away in that, and I think they were 2 barnstorming games. I think 6-5 both ways, just to one team getting the each. But with the league, and of course qualifying for the playoffs, there was no drama in it. Everybody was going to qualify for the quarterfinals of the playoffs. Would you like to see the league evened up next year? Because obviously in the NIHL 2, where you have the Mustangs, we have the Warriors, there's 13 teams down there. Is there at least 2 of them, do you think, that could step up and create a 10-team league, so that we had a little bit more league game and a little bit more drama in regards to qualifying for playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd love that to happen, of course. It's good to play different teams, and I think it's good for the fans to see different teams as well, too. You know, what I do know that there's a difference level between the two in terms of commitment. And, you know, we're training twice a week, playing often twice a week as well, too. And at that level, it's not always necessarily the player's quality that defines whether or not they should play there or not. It's more what they can commit to from their working life. And it's the same with our team as well. You know, we all have lives outside of hockey. So of course, I'd love to see it, and you know, I could only encourage it. And there's definitely a couple of teams there I think that probably could be pushing up into the division. But again, it's whether or not they can commit, and whether or not the players that play for them can commit, and that's probably the bigger question. But I imagine they should be able to pull together a squad that could do that for sure.
Yeah, I would imagine at least Bristol, possibly Haringey, could to come and join the league, and then perhaps maybe drop in the cup games, maybe just have it 1 game rather than 2 home and away, and then have obviously the extra 2 teams in the league. But it certainly would be nice to see an extra level of competition. As you say, going somewhere a bit different, playing some different teams, because I'm sure we will be sick of the sight of each other by the time the playoffs are over and done with, and we know who's heading to the showpiece in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day when I played, we played the regular season games. We'd have cup competitions, but we'd also play in a transitional cup where our team was playing in the EPL, so what would be the NHL League Cup every year as well too. So we'd have to play, you know, the Flames or the Swindon Wildcats or Slough Jets at the time who were in that level, even the Chieftains when they were at that level too. And that was always great because it really, I mean, we didn't win a lot of those games. We had some wins which we were really proud of, but it also brought the development of players along, which was really important. I think that's also important with these games, is maybe to even think about stuff like that. Because I'm, you know, playing Streatham last night, I'm sure that they could, you know, on any given night give a team in the league above a run for their money as well, because they're a supremely talented organisation.
They are, yeah, and I think that's something that's been discussed online between a lot of sort of NIHL 1 fans. Is, you know, Streatham have now won the league 3 times in a row. They have many nights where they will do to teams what they've done to you last night, what they've done to us this season. But I think it all kind of works in phases, doesn't it? And I think that team that they have, as brilliant as they are, is possibly coming to the end of a phase age-wise where they might need to sort of regenerate. And then teams such as, I mean, Solar Devils have had an incredible season, and they are now sort of got that young base and moving forward. So yeah, it would be nice to see a different team at the top of the league. And it's really nice to see a different team in the cup final. Obviously, did you make it last year? I think, was it against Streatham?
We did, yeah, but perhaps that's not one we want to talk about. It was not our finest display. And yeah, one that, I don't know, it was one of my personal sort of hockey lows. Yeah, but again, lows like that shape what the future can be. And if you don't, you know, win, you learn. And I think that was definitely a night for learning and not for winning.
No, I think most Chieftain fans would agree. We've had a season for learning. Obviously, such as like yourselves, we've had to have quite a large rebuild, didn't retain a great deal of the squad from last year. So I think the fact that we've both made a cup final is terrific for the clubs. And yeah, we're all really looking forward to it. And I won't wish you the best of luck for it, but I'll just wish that we have, out of these 4 games, 4 games that the hockey truly deserves, the hockey fans truly deserve. And I think we'll get that.
I think you're right. I mean, for me, we'll do all we can from our side to make it as big a spectacle as we possibly can. I've said a lot to the boys that opportunities like this are few and far between, and you have to make the most of them. And it's the same from your side. So
yeah.
I'm dead excited for the weekend and for the rest of the season. And I know our boys are, and I'm sure it's the same for the Chieftains.
I'm sure it is. Karl Lennon, thank you so much for joining me on Zero Pucks Given. All the best for the rest of the postseason. We'll be seeing a lot of you.
Thank you. Take care, man.
Cheers, Karl.
Thank you.